Let me see. Good morning, everyone. Can all of you hear me? Welcome to another lesson for Maths Grade 5, and we are currently in week 8. Thank you for those of you who are replying. I will be your new teacher from today. This is a picture if you want to see what I look like. My name is Marilet Geldenhuys, and you can call me Mrs. G or Mrs. Geldenhuys if you can pronounce that. I want to ask all of you to stop typing right now. We will have more opportunity to chat with each other, but right now let's look on the screen. If there are people who keep talking when we ask them not to, unfortunately, you guys will be removed. And that is very sad because then you won't be able to return. So we don't want to go to that point where we remove you from the chat. So please, guys, let's stop typing right now. Look on the screen. And let's continue with our lesson. Right, so today we will look at 3D shapes, and you will be able to compare and sort 3D shapes. Who of you can hear me? Let me see. Let me just ask you one more time because I see some people cannot hear. Just type quickly, I can hear or I cannot hear. Let me just see. All right, I see most of you can hear. So then it's not a problem on our side. If you cannot hear, then try to just check your computer audio. See if you can figure it out. Right, guys, I asked you to stop chatting right now. No more chatting. Let's go to the next slide. Today I will try to figure out how much you guys know about shapes. Now let me quickly see how many of you have looked at 3D shapes before? Shapes like prisms and cubes and cylinders and cones. You can answer my question. All right, there you go. I see many of you have done it before. So today we are going to see how much of this work you actually understand, how long we have to spend on it. So let's look. We have two shapes at the top. What is this, the first shape? What is that shape? Who can tell me? Remember, it's a 3D shape. There we go. Bouchle said it's a cube. There we go. And what's the shape next to the cube? What's the shape next to the cube? Very good. Who is the person? Neo, you said a triangular prism. That's awesome. So let's see if you can remember or if you know all of the attributes of these shapes. So the number of faces, before we tell each other how many faces there are, who can tell me what a face is? If I ask you the number of faces, what am I talking about? Does the shape actually have a smiley face or a frowny face or something like that? What is a face if we're talking about a 3D shape? Can anyone tell me? There you go. Ethan said a flat surface of a shape. So, and Amanda, a face is a face of a shape. It's flat. So I think what you guys mean is if I'm looking at this 3D shape, the flat shape that I see in front of me from each different side, that is the face. So basically how many sides, or if I had to piece them together, how many sides does the shape have? How many faces? It's like a surface, but when we're speaking about math, we call them faces. So who can tell me how many faces does a cube have? There you go. Ethan, Bouchle, you're the first ones to say that it has 6 faces. So what works is if you just imagine an object that represents the shape. Who can tell me what object in your house or what object that you know has a cube shape? My dice. There you go. Amanda said dice. Box. Yes, some boxes, not all boxes, because some boxes are more rectangular. And how about something cold? Some containers, yes, and an ice cube. If your ice cubes are cubes and not rectangular prisms. So you are all correct when you say it has 6 faces. And then how many faces does the triangular prism have? Let's see if you can count, even though you cannot see all the faces. Let's see if you can count in your mind how many faces the triangular prism has. Wow, you guys are really smart. How do you say this name? Zara. You are the first one to say that it has 5 faces. Someone said 55. I'm thinking that's probably just a typo, right? So if we count the faces that we can see, we can only see 2 of the faces. We can see 1 triangle and 1 rectangle. And then at the bottom, we know it's standing on a face. And then at the back, there are 2 faces that we cannot see. I see you guys understand this work. Right, let's go to the number of edges. Let's go to the number of edges. So what is an edge? Before you can tell me how many edges, you have to tell me what is an edge. Who can tell me what is an edge? An edge is a line, says Akani. The Boho says corners. No, the corners is something else. An edge is a line. All right, so the people who said line, you are the closest. So it's the line where the 2 edges meet, right? So it's kind of like the rim of a shape. So if the 2, maybe the triangular face and the rectangular face where they meet, that line is an edge. So if we have that in mind, can you tell me how many edges does a cube have? Yes, who says, Bushle says it's a straight line that glues the faces together. That's a very visual description. So if you imagine you are making the shape, where are you going to glue the faces together? It's going to be on the edge, right? So how many edges does a cube have? Let me see. So Ethan said 12 edges. Bushle said 9. And then a bunch of you said 8. Kia said 12. Who is right? Now I see many of you say 12. So just think about it. Only the ones you can see in the front, the square there's already 4 edges, and then on the side. So opposite sides have 4 edges each, but then we know we also have 4 edges connecting these 8. So altogether it's 12. So those of you who said 12, very good. All right, and now we're moving to the number of edges on a triangular prism. Who can tell me how many edges there are on a triangular prism? You have to imagine the shape. So where the triangle meets the 1 rectangle, there will be one edge, but it's also connected to the other sides of the triangle. So 3 edges, and then it's connected to each other, and it's connected to the second triangle. So try to imagine all these edges, and then you count them. It's good if you can see it in front of you like a tent. So a triangular prism looks kind of like a tent. The correct answer is 9. I see many of you said 10, but someone said 9. Let me see. Pio and Kia, you guys said 9 edges. You are correct. Very well done. Right, let's go to the number of vertices. Who can tell me what a vertex is? Before we can answer this question, we have to know what it is. There we go. Praise said it's a corner. Remember, we say one vertex and many vertices. So a vertex is a corner. It's where all the lines meet in a point or a corner. You guys know the word corner because we are used to looking at flat surface or at flat shapes, two-dimensional shapes. But if you're looking at 3-dimensional shapes, we call them vertices. So look at a cube or a cube that you know and tell me how many vertices a cube has. Who can tell me? Right, I have some answers coming through. Oof, different answers. Some of you say 14, but I see most of you say 8. What do you think the right answer is? Let's check. Most of you are very sharp. You have done this before. I can see that. Right, so just count all the corners. If you have a dice in front of you, or you have an ice cube or something like that, you can just count the corners and you'll see there are 8. So we say there are 8 vertices on a cube. Great. So let's look at the triangular prism. Guys, stick to the answers. You don't need to quote all kinds of textbook information. I want you just to answer the questions that I'm asking. So, because I will need to check how much of the work you understand and at what pace we have to go through this. Right, how many vertices does a triangular prism have? Some of you have already answered. Yes, I see all of you have the correct answer. So I'm not even going to explain. It has 6 vertices. And then the shape of the faces. So if you're looking at every face, every side of a cube, what will the shape of the faces be? Think about it. This, I'm talking about a 2-dimensional shape now, not a 3-dimensional. There we go. Praise and Bouchle. You said square. So do you think they are all squares, or are there some triangles or circles? Remember, we have 6 faces. Yes, they are all squares. So if we write here an amount, maybe we say 1 square and 5 triangles, and remember, we just have to add them up to see if we get to the total number of faces. Right, and then the last question on this page, let's go to how many, what are the shapes of the faces when we're looking at a triangular prism? There we go. Bouchle said triangles and rectangles. So who can tell me how many triangles and how many rectangles? Praise, very good. You said 2 triangles and 3 rectangles. So you can imagine the shape in front of you. Because what you can see is only one triangle and one rectangle, but you know at the back on the opposite side of the one triangle, there has to be another triangle. So it's two triangles. And then the sides that connect these triangles together, they are rectangles. So there will be three rectangles. Great. Let's go to the next page. Sorry, guys, there we go. So at the top, we see two shapes again. Who can tell me what are these two shapes? What are they? What's the first one? It's a cube again. And what's the second one? The one is a cube because all of the sides are exactly the same. They're all triangles. So what are, yes, there we go. Neo said a flat rectangular prism. It's a rectangular prism. So do you think, because on the previous page, we looked at a triangular prism and a cube, and we looked at the similarities and differences, and there were not a lot of similarities, right? There were actually many differences. So how about these two? If I look at the rectangular prism and the cube, do you think there will be more similarities or more differences? What do you think? Will there be more similarities between these two than the previous two, or more differences? Great. Ethan said more similarities, and Bouchle. Yes, because even if you just look at them, you can see, okay, I can see there are a lot of similarities, maybe just a one or two differences, but a lot of similarities. So this table should be much quicker to do and to resolve. So how many faces? We've already done this. How many faces does a cube have? How many faces does a cube have? You can just quickly, there we go. Tafka, I think I'm pronouncing it correctly. You guys, you are correct. You're the first one. You said 6. And then how about a rectangular prism? There we go. Also 6 faces. So just look at it. We can see it's basically the same thing. The same amount of faces, just here and there, the shapes are different. Then, if we look at the number of edges, on the previous page, if you can remember, how many edges does a cube have? How many edges? There we go. Ethan, Bouchle, you guys are the first one to answer. There are 12 edges. And how about the rectangular prism? Also 12, right? So here, the first two, they are similar, the same amount of faces and the same amount of edges. How about the number of vertices for a cube? How many corners or vertices does a cube have? There we go, Neo and Bouchle, you said 8. And what do you think about the rectangular prism? Yes, Amanda, also 8. And now I think we will get to the part with the slight differences. So who can tell me the shape of the faces and tell me the amount as well? What shape are the faces of the cube, and how many of them are there? So we said praise, yes, great. You said square, and Bouchle said square. 6. That is correct. 6 squares. How about the rectangular prism? How many of which shape? Trey said 4 rectangles, squares. Ethan said square 2 and rectangles 4. So we can't really say, based on a picture that we don't know the exact measurements of, if it's a square or a rectangle, but you are safe to say that they're all rectangles, 6 rectangles, but some of the faces can be square as well. Depends on the specific rectangular prism that you are looking at. Like a pizza box, if you look at a pizza box, the two of the faces, the top and the bottom, they will be square. But if you look at one of those long pizza boxes from something like Roman's Pizza, where there can be 2 pizzas in one box, none of the faces will be square. They're all rectangles. Right, you guys are really smart. So we are going to look at the differences between these 2 shapes. You can tell me what the first one is? Sorry for making you hungry. You can go eat in a little while. Right, what is the first shape? Who can tell me? Because these are both pyramids. Very good. Bouchle said square-based pyramid. How about the second one? Yes, Nia already has the answer. A triangular pyramid, or a triangular-based pyramid. Right, so number of faces. Now we have to quickly count. Look at the square-based pyramid. How many faces does it have? You guys, oh, so many correct answers. 5, 5, 5, 5. Very good. So let's reveal the answer. And how do we count it? We know the square is 1 face, and then on every side of the square, there's a triangle that meets at the top. So 4 triangles in 1 square, that will give us 5 faces. Right, and the number of faces in a triangular-based or triangular pyramid. How many faces? There we go. So quick, you guys. 4 faces. Remember now there's only, there's a triangle at the bottom. So there are 3 sides, and each of these 3 sides have another triangle attached to it. Number of edges. How many edges? Remember we said the edge is the line where the 2 shapes or the 2 faces meet. How many edges does a square-based pyramid have? Many of you have the correct answer. Yo, it's coming in so quickly. 8 edges. Right, look at the triangular-based pyramid. How many edges? How many edges? Some of you have the correct answer, but I see all kinds of answers. I see 7, 8, 6. Which is it? Is it 7, 6, 6, 7, or 8? Guys, let's talk about the work. All right, most of you I see have the correct answer, and Neo is very sure of his answer. So 6. The answer is 6. 6 edges for a triangular pyramid. Number of vertices, so that's the corners. How many vertices does a square-based pyramid have? Count them. So we have the 4 on at the bottom where the triangles meet the square. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, and then obviously 1 at the top. So 4 plus 1 is 5. Great. And then the next one, a triangular pyramid. How many at the bottom? If we're thinking about the base that is triangular, there are 4 vertices because 3 at the bottom and 1 at the top. Ooh, I see many. Oh, okay, maybe you guys are answering the previous question. All right. 4. There you go. And then the shape of the faces, we've already started speaking about it. Some of you said, I just want to quickly go back to the previous question. It's not 5 or 4. The first one has 5 vertices and the second one has 4. So you have to be able to see that or to count it. And then the shape of the faces at the bottom, how many? Yes, Ethan said we have squares and triangles, but how many? How many of, there we go. 1 square. And how many triangles? Someone said 5 triangles. Praise, do you think there are 5 triangles? Faith said 4 triangles. Yes, so 4 triangles and 1 square. And then the last one, the shape of the faces. There we go. Just 4 triangles. You guys are doing really well. Let's go to the next slide. On this slide, I'm just going to give you all the answers, but we are going to talk about the shapes a little bit. What is the first shape? The one on the left? What is that shape called? Who can tell me? A cylinder, there we go. And then what's the shape next to it called? Remember, we're thinking 3D, not just 2D. A sphere, very good. So we have a cylinder and a sphere. And real life objects, who can tell me what a cylinder, what things do you know that has a cylinder shape? Think about stuff in your house or things that you have seen that is cylinder shaped. Ah, there we go. Amanda said a Pringles container. That's perfect. Even something like a toilet roll, if you put something at the top and at the bottom, that is a cylinder. Or a straw is a very thin cylinder. If we closed up the top and the bottom. And the next one, you can give me a lot of examples. What objects do you know that are spheres? Let me see your answers. Oh, sorry, guys. I'm waiting to see some answers. Maybe the connection is a little slow. Right, so a ball, a soccer ball, netball ball, tennis ball, any kind of ball, or a marble, anything that's a round 3D shape. That, there we go. A donut, not really, guys, because it has to be round from all the sides. An apple, if you have a perfectly round apple, there we go. An orange, great. A lemon is not really round most of the time. It's a little bit odd shaped. All right. So let's look at the number of faces. Now you have to imagine the actual object. Otherwise, it's going to be harder to answer this question or these questions. Right, in a cylinder, I said here, the number of faces, there are 3 faces. Who can tell me where the 3 faces are? So now I'm asking the questions the other way around. I'm giving you the answer, but I want you to explain to me, where are the 3 faces? Or what kind of faces are there? So let me help you with the first one. So we see the circle at the top and the circle at the bottom, and then in between the two circles, there's a rectangle connecting them. So there are three faces. There we go. The answers, I think the answers are just coming through a little bit slowly today, but we have two flat surfaces and one curved. That's all correct. Someone said two triangles. No, there are no triangles here, but there are two flat surfaces and one curved surface. Look at the sphere, the ball. Think of a ball. And I said there, how many faces does a ball or does a sphere have? And the answer is one. So who can tell me something about that face? Is it flat? Is it curved? It's a curved face, right? So I see some of the textbooks or some of the books that you might have seen they say a sphere has 0 faces because it's not a flat surface. But you just, if you can explain your answer, and if you do what your teacher told you to do, you will be okay. Right. So there's only one surface, one face. So let's go to the next section here. It says number of edges. Now think about something like a Pringles bottle or Pringles container. How many edges are there? Remember, an edge is where the two faces meet. The line. There are two. Yes, so it's the circular, but are they straight edges or are they curved? We said there are two edges. They are curved. Very good, praise. And then think of a ball. If I'm talking about a sphere, how many edges are there on a sphere? There is none. No edges, right? So how can I say that? Just think about it. Is there any line on a ball where two surfaces or two faces meet? No. If I only have one face, there can't be any edges because an edge is where two of the faces meet. Right. Then we go to the number of vertices. Think about a Pringles container, a cylinder. Are there any corners? No. So that's 0. And then also, if I think about a ball, 0, because there are no corners on a ball, no vertices. Right. And the last one we are going to talk about is the shape of the faces. So if I cut open a Pringles container, the top face will be a circle. What will the bottom face be? What will the bottom face be? Will also be a circle. So at the top I have a circle, at the bottom I have a circle. Who of you have tried to cut open a toilet roll or a Pringles bottle? What is the shape of the piece in the middle connecting the top and the bottle? Who knows? It's not a circle. There we go. Ethan said it's a rectangle. So we're talking about two-dimensional shapes when we're talking about the shape of the faces. The entire thing, the cylinder, is three-dimensional, but the different faces are all two-dimensional. So it will be two circles and a rectangle that is bent or that is curved. And then with a circle, How many faces do I have? Well, with this face, maybe your book says one, and the shape is a circle. If you're looking at it, you see a circle, but if you're trying to make it flat, you will see it's not really a circle. But for your purposes, let's say if your teacher says you have to write circle, then just write circle. But if you one day want to cut open a ball or something and you put it flat, you will see that it's not a circle. Right. Let's go to the next slide. So let's see who's very quick. We have three cylinders, three shapes here, three 3D shapes. We have a cylinder, a cube, and a square-based pyramid. Which shape is the odd one out? Remember, there can be more than one answer, but you have. So let me read some of your answers. Which shape is the odd one out and why? Guys, I'm not going to unmute your microphones. So if you have a question, you can type it out. It's just easier and quicker this way. You can type out your answer. You guys said cylinder. Someone said square-based pyramid. So you can tell me why. Otherwise, I don't know if I'm going to give you the marks or not. There we go. Praise said the cylinder because it is curved and the rest are straight. Let's see what's my answer. So very good. The cylinder is the only shape with a curved surface and curved edges. You could also have said the cylinder because it's the only one with circular faces. If you can give any reason for your answer that makes sense, I'm sure your teacher will give you the point. Right, let's go to the next one. Which shape? What do you think? What's the answer here? Because I have a square-based pyramid here, I have a triangular-based pyramid, and I have a cube. Which one's the odd one out? Now, if you can give a reason, if you can give a reason, your answer should be fine. Remember, I have a square-based pyramid, a triangular pyramid, and a cube. Right, someone said, Nia said the cube is the odd one out because it's not a pyramid. That's a good answer. I would give you a point for that one. Someone, Faith said the square-based pyramid. Come, you have to explain why. So if you can explain why, let me see. Let me reveal my answer, then we can talk about it a little bit more. The PowerPoint is a little bit slow. Right, I said the cube because it's the only shape without a triangular surface. But you can give me other reasons. I can say my answer can be the triangular-based pyramid because it has no square faces. So see, if you can just explain your answer, it should be fine. Guys, I see we are run out of time, so let's just do one more and then we'll skip to the end. These two shapes have the same amount of vertices. True or false? Let me see all your answers quickly. Who says true? Who says false? I see the chat's also a little bit slow. There we go. We have many truths. We have a false. Remember, a vertex is a corner. So count the corners, count the vertices in your head, or if you have the shapes in front of you, you can physically count them. Most of you said true, and the answer is true. Right, I'm just going to quickly skip to the end, guys, because I see we have run out of time. We will finish this lesson tomorrow. And let me just go back here. So the takeaway message, if you are struggling with visualizing 3D shapes, you should build them so you can see the vertices and edges that we are talking about. It's great if you can build them, if you can see them in front of you, because then it's you don't have to imagine anything, you can just work from what you see. Right, and then there's a helpful link for you guys, twinkle.co.za. You can go check it out. Tomorrow we will finish this lesson, and then we will also look at something else to do with 3D shapes. I hope to see all of you again. Let me just go to the page with your homework. Guys, quickly take a screenshot or take a picture of this. This is your homework for tomorrow. Let me read through it. Number 1, what is the same about a rectangular prism and a triangular prism? So there you just have to list the similarities for me, or the one thing that's the same. And then what is the same about a rectangular prism and a square-based pyramid? Number 3, what is different about a triangular-based pyramid and a square-based pyramid? Number 4, what is the same about a cone and a cylinder? And number 5, what is different about a cylinder and a sphere? Right, I hope to see all of you tomorrow. Remember, you have to quickly look at my email address here, because you have to send your homework to this email address now so that I can check it. marilet2007@yahoo.co.uk. I'm looking forward to seeing your answers, to see if you understand the work. And then I hope to see all of you again tomorrow. You can find us and follow us on social media. Go check out the website, and that's also where you will find the worksheets. Have a lovely day, guys. Go think about these things. Come with questions if you have questions. You can even go build some of the shapes to see if you can understand them a little bit better. Thank you for your participation. I really enjoyed meeting you guys. Bye-bye.